Yeah, this is.
All right. So we're good. Oh, hang on. I should start a new track. I'm going to do that. Yeah, we're good.
Hey, did we? So all this quick fire stuff, we're going to go through this, right?
Not necessarily. Not all of it.
Okay, cool.
Just if anybody just kind of looks at it and sees something interesting, we can talk about it.
Right.
Okay. We're good. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 148, recorded on September 27th, 2017. On tonight's episode, we discuss 18 games coming to the Nintendo Switch this week alone. Justin has gone to the EGX convention and come back a better man, and Dave Moore from Dayspace is here with us this week. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. Zach, cue the music.
Hang on. Go! Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Dads Podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is September 27th, 2017. Joining me tonight, fresh off the EGX thing where he was, Justin Masson. What's going on, Justin?
Nothing much, buddy. I mean, man, Marty, what is going on? Those levels are low and tired, buddy. I mean, for a man who just stuffed 35 cheese balls in his mouth, I would expect you to be more peppy than that.
He's I think he's a little bit he's going into a coma is what it is. Diabetic coma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joining us as well, Jesse Waldeck, BeatTheTribute.com. What's going on?
Pretty good. Something happened in the background real quick. I don't know what's going on.
Is that you?
That's not me.
I think it's Marty.
Did somebody's air conditioning kick in? What's going on? I can't hear it. Oh, we lost Marty. He's gone. All right. Well, that's okay.
Speaking of man who's ready to step in that third spot or fourth spot and take that chair, Dave Moore from Dayspace and the curator of so many podcasts. And what's going on, Dave?
What's going on, guys? It's been like months since I've been on this show. It's like you guys have been like leaving me out or something.
Well, you've got your own podcast empire that we are too intimidated to be near, and having you on this show is like an anchor to our week. We don't know what to do now, and we're actually really concerned about the Dave Moore Dayspace bump that our podcasts are going to get now that you're on tonight's show.
I mean, there's only like 12 Nintendo podcasts over there, and they won't let me on any of those, so I have to come over here still. There
may be a reason why you weren't let on them. Do you know anything about Nintendo? Do you have a hard addiction to something in Nintendo?
Amiibo.
All right. Well,
I don't really know what those are. It's kind of this weird word that Nintendo made me spend over $1,000 on in my life. But
right.
You know, it continues to build.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. We're gonna come back and talk to you about more of the shows that you got on your network, including something called an Xbox Drive, which sounds like a poor life decision. Speaking of a man who only makes slightly poor life decisions involving cheese balls and his mouth, Marty Estes, you're back. What's going on, buddy?
My internet decided to just crap the bed there for just a minute. I don't know.
Your internet was scared of the Dayspace Empire.
That's what it was. It had a premonition of the oncoming onslaughts.
Yeah, exactly.
We come in peace.
Yeah. Please understand. We're fine. Where's a bumper boy?
What do you mean? Hey, who's running this ship, huh? You and your impatience is, I've had enough of it, and will not stand for it anymore. Okay. All right. Well, hey, we got a lot to talk about, and we'll get right to it. But on my terms, you got it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And all in good fun, Justin.
Oh, absolutely. I love you too.
Are you guys still friends? I'm concerned.
Stop fighting! We have a show going on tonight, and of course the news is brought to you by patreon.com/NintendoDads. Marty, we've got new patrons again this week, man.
Absolutely, yeah. Marcus Peterson, Aaron Miller, and Ben are helping us build. You know what? I'm just going to say it. They're helping us build the Nintendo Dads empire.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, what they're doing is They are making it's making the world a better place. They're making dreams come true.
Yeah, they are. I agree, man. I totally agree. And you know what? I think that it actually is amazing to me how many like it is on a consistent basis now that we've got more and more people who are signing up and joining the line chat and all of that. Yeah. Like it's getting to the point where we're like, okay, like is this line chat sustainable as we continue to grow? We're looking at that. That's something that we are that we have had talks about in the background. But you know, like we're just excited to have that group of people who want to be a part of the show continue to grow. You guys are amazing. So
well, and I would say, I just want to take a quick pause. We're going to talk about the EGX stuff here in a little bit, but you know, when we talk about supporting the show and helping us create amazing content, EGX is a great example of that. Right, EGX was only possible because of the amazing Patreon support that we receive, not only from our Patreon supporters, but also from our actual listeners who just download our show every single day. That allowed us to be able to have the flexibility to go over there, to meet some amazing developers, to attain a media pass, to create awesome content that went out. All those were good things. That's really because of the amazing support of our Patreon folks, and then everyone who downloads and listens to our show. So genuinely, thank you so much to everyone that has anything to do with our show. We are so appreciative of it every single day.
Absolutely, and without you, Justin and Gary could not have thrown some major shade on Sonic Forces. So
man, are we taking the hit on that one?
Oh yeah,
popcorn worthy.
I love it. If there is, oh my gosh, if there's ever a community that deserves triggering.
Oh, come on. They've been through so much, Marty.
They have been through so much, and then they got rewarded with Sonic Mania, which is quite possibly the greatest third-party game that's come out this year so far, and then yet they dare to defend a dumpster fire trash heap like Sonic Forces. I mean, I don't even have to play it. I could see it.
He just trusts my review.
I'm excited.
You didn't even have to review it. Like, 3D and Sonic go together about as well as the human body and diarrhea.
Box quote of the century.
Wow.
Sonic Mania was fantastic. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. You know what?
That's how I would prefer to remember Sonic and his friends.
Listen, you two after this are going to go like to the school across the street and pick on the kids in the remedial class. That's what
that's what this is.
That's what this is. Come on.
Are they playing Sonic?
Yeah. Oh!
Are they playing Sonic in 3D?
Oh my gosh.
Is that why we're going to pick on them?
Oh.
I'm sorry. You set it up. I knock them down.
All right.
Remember, well, send your hate tweets to @MartyEstes.
Wow. Okay.
Disclaimer. I like Sonic, just not in 3D.
All right. So what's going on, Zach? What are we doing today?
Yeah. So we've got two main stories. Our big stories of the week. One of them is 18. You guys, I don't know if you know this, but there's no games on the Switch. Did you know that? No games on the Switch.
I don't have anything to play at all. I've not been playing anything since Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Dave Moore, what are you playing on your Nintendo Switch?
I play Infinite Mini Golf lately, and Sonic Mania, and Splatoon 2. But those are my games. Zelda, never finished Zelda. Sorry, guys. Hello, Internet. Never finished it.
Whoa! Why?
Not gonna, and I'm never going to. I was talking to Sean about this today. I was like, maybe like after the third remaster, I'll consider finishing it again.
Like what is?
I don't know. It didn't hold me. I had a good time.
Is that? I'm just confused. Dave, you're confusing me.
I had a good time. I had a good time running around. I had a good time beating some shrines. I had a good about 40 hours, and then I was done. That's fine.
So in other words, you only got about a fifth of the way through the game.
Right. It's fine.
I don't understand. I think my current time log on that game is 140 hours.
Mine's 150.
Yeah. Okay. So that's an interesting thing. All right.
I have also not finished it yet, David.
Thank you, Justin.
You're welcome.
You, me, and Sean.
Understand?
It's mainly because of time, but whatever.
All right. So, anyways, so having said all of that, that there are no games on the Switch, there are 18 games coming out tomorrow. Actually, one of them is already out. One of them is already out. Arcade Archives.
Good. I'm glad they relieved that pressure.
Was released.
Only 17 Bobby Big Bucks has to buy.
Yeah. So there are 17 games coming out tomorrow, and one that is out right now. So Arcade Archives Mario Bros is out. We'll talk about it in our what we've been playing, because I played it. I think Jesse, you played it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So and by the looks of this list, only two of them are two of them are retail releases. One Piece Unlimited World Red Deluxe Edition. Wow,
thank you. That's for Roger.
I think they literally just put the Japanese title into Google Translate and then just pasted it on the box, because that's what that sounds like. And then FIFA 18 also coming out tomorrow, as well as a ton of games also coming out, notably Pitcross S, Golf Story.
Golf Story.
Golf Story. Is that
interest you, Dave?
If it ends up reviewing well and people enjoy it, yes, I would like that game to be fantastic and amazing, but I'm concerned.
What makes you concerned?
Just the potential of it being like this $15 game that could be really good, or just, I don't know, it could be mediocre, and I'm worried about it.
Dave, did you play the Game Boy Advance Mario Golf game?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I'm wondering. So basically, that's actually it was developed by Camelot, which were the same people who did the Golden Sun games, and it's like a full Mario Golf RPG. There's a story mode and tons of stuff like that. And so I hope that's kind of what they end up doing with this. Maybe it'll be similar to that. But again, I'm gonna wait. I've got a much larger RPG that I'm currently playing right now. But I'm playing two. I started 2 RPGs this week, so that's fun. So this one I'm gonna see. I'm interested what the time is on that, as well as what the reviews are.
There is a lot of chatter about this one, right? And I'm looking at our line chat specifically, and thank you, Tim, on our line chat, who literally create a separate feed for all of the Golf Story.
I think he was just tired of hearing about it.
I could be, but I mean, there are so many people excited for this one. This has been everyone's hype.
It's definitely getting a lot more attention than I thought it was, and I think that's probably going to be the star of this week's releases.
Oh, it's different. It's not like something else coming out, right?
Yeah,
everything else
true.
has a game that exists that's previous to it that's similar. Nothing is super new here. This is different and odd.
I think there's a lot of history, especially in NES, sort of, that sort of top-down golf game. I think there's a lot of people who have some pretty significant nostalgia for that kind of game that we haven't seen a lot of recently, especially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's it may be one of the few untapped nostalgia sort of reservoirs, if you want to use that word, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. The concept in itself, I think, is driving a lot of the hype. So
here's something that I'm wondering, and I'm going to bring up FIFA 18. You had already talked about as one of the 2 physical releases, and one of the things that I was reading today that there's been kind of a back and forth on this. EA has already sold, a lot of stores have already sold through 2 orders of FIFA 18 in the UK, which no surprise. I mean, soccer is extremely popular over there. Yeah, the Switch version, specifically the Switch version. But the rumor that's going around is that they are being extremely limited in their production of the physical copy.
So I would say this. So this is really interesting. Obviously, the football, or soccer, as the North Americans may know it, quite the popular thing here. Not a shock. But we were actually scrolling through Facebook recently. My wife was last night, and Super Value is like a not convenience store, like a supermarket, right? And there was actually a post. They were advertising having FIFA having the game FIFA. They're like, it comes out on Friday. It is a first come, first serve to get the game. We are not holding it. I said to my wife, I said, I didn't even know Super Value sold video games there. Right, like it is so popular that I mean, I think that some of the vendors maybe bring it in as a kind of as a resort of like drawing more people in. I had no clue, but for them to say it's first come first serve as opposed to, by the way, we have new steaks in this week and sales on apples, right? Like that was, I think,
steaks,
a pretty
apples, FIFA,
right? So
like,
you know,
so like having it come to like a I don't
like
know.
a Kroger.
Yeah, it's like it coming to a Giant Eagle or a
coming to Safeway.
Wow.
That'd be the equivalent. Yeah, that would be the equivalent of it.
Like maybe they have like some old discount DVDs behind the customer service desk or something. Yeah,
exactly.
That's crazy, dude.
I guess to kind of come back around to like, how do you guys think this is going to do? I mean, early things, of course, from that side of the pond where Justin is, of course, seem extremely positive. But we know that this is not the same version of FIFA 18 that everyone else is getting. So, like, how do we expect this to do? It's still, besides NBA 2K, this is, well, it is. It is the first high-profile sports game being released on the Switch in physical format. Because 2K is not coming out till later. It's available on the eShop, but physical form's not coming out till next month, right?
Mm-hmm.
I bet you this sells like crazy. It's a portable sports game. And I don't think we need to underestimate the power of that.
Yeah,
it's a portable HD sports game.
Yeah, right.
One of the things with that, and I mean, this isn't one of our stories this week, but there were a lot of impressions of Doom that came out this week of people who played it, who said it was 30 frames per second, and people having all sorts of, on both sides. Some people saying that's bad, and other people saying that that's good enough for it to be on the Switch. And I think that that Nintendo with the Wii and the Wii U, I think they had this problem where they were almost too underpowered, or people that that combined with the poor install base, people didn't want to play downgraded versions of games on the Wii because they were so far downgraded that it was not even worth doing. The Switch, I think that it's powerful enough that developers can just kind of put the settings on medium instead of high, and that's good enough for most people, right? Where it plays well enough that I can also take it with me. And that, I think that's what we're seeing with the Switch right now, is it the optimal super high-end performance experience that you're going to get on other consoles? No, but it gives you 90% of the way there, and that's good enough. And most people don't care about that extra 10%. So
there is that percentage of the people who get high-end PCs, but I think that's a different market too.
Right, exactly. I don't think that those people are going to be playing FIFA, right? Like and I don't think that FIFA is the kind of game that that you need to squeeze that extra 10% performance.
No, I think there's a very dedicated FIFA audience who will buy this, like it always is. The people who play FIFA all year round, and they buy FIFA every year. And if they can take it on the go with them, they're going to buy this version.
Right, but those people don't have $3,000 PCs like the Doom players might, who play it on PC.
Right. But again, like those Doom players, if they've spent $3,000 on a PC, what is dropping $60 so that I can play Doom on the go, right? Like that's the being able to play it on the go is enough to like that suddenly you are more willing to accept a slight downgrade in performance.
Yep.
Does that make what I mean? Especially with Bethesda, like we know that Bethesda is going to, and again, we only know that it's 30 frames per second in handheld. I was listening to some speculation on, I can't remember, maybe it was Switchforce or something, saying that they haven't shown it in docked mode, and it may actually, there's some speculation that it may actually be doing 60 frames per second in docked mode. We don't know.
I don't remember which game it was, but I thought I heard there was one game out there that when docked, you can have the choice between playing 1080p 30 or 720p 60. And that's kind of
was
awesome to have that choice.
I think that was Fire Emblem Warriors. I want to say maybe.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that could be.
So
I will say that I played FIFA this weekend.
And how was it?
I did not enjoy it.
Justin doesn't like most games. For you new listeners, he doesn't like video games.
But I'm not a sports video game person. I will tell you that. Also, we played it on tabletop with the Joy-Cons disconnected, and it felt like it was an eye exam for me. Like I was wicked squinting, and I was like, I have no clue what's going on. Like I played. So
what you're really saying is you're old.
Yeah, I played about a minute and a half, and the other person I was playing with, I'm like, I don't know about you, I'm not doing this anymore. I just put the Joy-Con down and walked away from the booth.
So like here's my thing. Let's kind of take a step back. 18 games coming out in 1 week. For the first 6 months of the Switch, Nintendo was very careful about what games do we put out on the platform, what games do we, all of that sort of stuff. One thing that I will point out is that these games are all being dropped on the last full week of the quarter, right? Mm-hmm. Like the fiscal quarter is ending in like the end of September. So it probably don't be surprised if sometime in October the number of games so far released on the Switch is this remarkable number that everybody's surprised by, and it seems like maybe it's almost 15 titles more than you would have expected, right? Mm-hmm. Probably because 15 more games than you would have expected were dropped onto the Switch eShop on the last week. So let's talk about the elephant in the room with that. 18 games are coming out on the eShop tomorrow, and 18 games don't fit on the home screen of the eShop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, it's
so you immediately have a case of at least 3 of those games, maybe? Is it 3 getting buried?
No, okay.
Completely.
So the recent releases.
There's 24 tiles.
It has 24 tiles.
Okay. So, but that's going to push everything from last week down way far immediately.
Yep.
Because let's be honest. I mean, you guys, I don't. Maybe you do. I don't go in there and like dig back through the list very often. I
don't go in the eShop and browse.
Okay, so
I go in there with an intent of purchasing something and get out.
So here's put this into perspective.
I don't wander through Best Buy. I go in, I get out. That's all I'm doing here, folks.
To put this into perspective, SteamWorld Dig 2 will be on the bottom row of the recent releases tomorrow. Which came out last week?
Yeah,
right. Yep. It came out it will have come out a week ago, and it will be completely on the bottom row, and the week after that it will be gone. So the eShop now, if this is a one-time deal, then whatever. But if it's not, the eShop needs an update immediately. If that suddenly is a much bigger problem. And last week we got we've had 6 games come out since last week, the last episode of our show. So they need to, if we've got this many games coming through, they got to get on that immediately, because basically what's going to happen otherwise is that an eShop game is going to come out and then it's going to be gone, right? It's going to be lost in 2 or 3 weeks, and suddenly they're not going to have any sales, because the only way to find the game is going to be through
search,
literally searching. Yeah, and that's it.
Because there's no other options, because the only other section is top sellers.
Well, yeah, you can say view all, and then you'll get a list of all the games.
Right. Oh, but who's actually you have to actively seek that out. They need to have. Right. I mean, I booted up my Wii U not too long, this week, because I was, what was I doing? I just booted it up for some reason, and I went into the eShop, and holy crap, I forgot how beautiful that eShop is, right?
Isn't it funny that we say that now? Looking back on it, it's like, for a time it was like, man, the Wii U eShop, I wish it was like this and this. And now we look at the current Switch eShop and we go, oh, I wish I had that Wii U eShop back.
Yeah, but don't you want to wait 45 seconds while it boots up? Don't you want to just sit there and spin the little thing and have to press A to try to make these shapes fit together? Don't you want to do that again?
I kind of do actually. I did that.
Here's
I was
the thing,
like, yeah.
we're at a point now where they at least need categories represented on that first screen that comes on. Like even if it's just genres of games, like if you want to play an action game or you want to play an RPG or you want to play like new releases and bestsellers, put those in there, move them off the side, and maybe let that side be just where the search bar is, and something else that could go over there too. But like you remember, like with the Wii U eShop, they used to have like, here's all the Mario games that are here, and here's all the this games, or here's all the retro games. That would be really nice at this point.
Yeah, they need it.
So I just looked at the total download available game count, and including the 3 different versions of NBA. There's 143. So after adding 18 more, you'll have over 160 games available
in 6 months.
What did they say? 80 games in development at the first conference?
Something like that.
Yeah, so we've surpassed it.
Switch has no games, guys.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, I want to come back to something really quickly. Going back to the FIFA commentary, and sorry, I was actually just jumping on to track my Super NES Classic and when it's supposed to arrive tomorrow, and I went on to Smith's website, which is the equivalent of Toys R Us here, and the lead banner on the website is FIFA 18 midnight opening in all stores to collect your game. So that'd be the equivalent of every single Toys R Us across your country being open at midnight for you to come collect FIFA. That's how big it is here.
Wow.
Yeah, I imagine it's, in Europe, FIFA would be as big as like Dragon Quest in Japan.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to derail that one, but I wanted to.
Or Pokemon.
It's like Call of Duty here.
Yeah, very much so.
Crazy.
So out of this list of 18, what are you guys getting?
None.
Just Golf Story.
Probably Golf Story and Picross. Those are the two for sure. Like other than that, I don't really.
Yeah, I'll look at the descriptions and look at the press release and see how much information they give, or if most of these just ends up in the and other releases at the bottom.
Have you guys watched the previews for Butcher?
No, I've never heard of it.
I saw the screens.
It's interesting.
It looks.
It's interesting. It's like if Doom and Terminator had a baby, and it was a 8-bit retro, like almost Atari game.
What? The art is terrible.
It is terrible, but like it's just like ultra gory, and like you can shoot, like you're a robot that's job is to exterminate the human race.
As you do.
Like you do. Yeah. I'm looking at some of this
inverse
stuff.
of Berserk.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know what else. Conga Master Party, is that coming out tomorrow? Yep. I don't know what that is.
You start a conga line.
It looks like Snake, kind of.
Yeah, I'm probably going for Picross S. I know for sure because my wife has expressed interest in it, and I know that's something that we can play 2-player, which I think is pretty cool. And I don't know, like I'm teetering on Golf Story. Like at 1 minute I'm like, yeah, I'll get this, and then I go, oh, but it's golf, and then I say, oh, I don't need another RPG. I'm getting an SNES Classic on Friday that has plenty of fun RPGs, and then
actually, that is a really good point. I could play Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy 3 instead.
And then you could just be like me, and you could have already bought Arcade Archives Mario Brothers and wish that you could file for a refund.
Me too.
You got tricked? You thought that game was going to be fun?
I didn't get tricked. I just I'm a huge sucker for anything Mario.
And our fans wanted us to play it to understand how it was, so we bit the bullet for it. Almost all of us did because we're dumb.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, come on. You
guys thought that was going to be fun. John and I talked about this. We both agreed this game was not going to be fun.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's one of my favorite arcade games.
Well, then why don't you start your own dumb Nintendo podcast?
In a minute.
Because your network only has 12 of them.
Let's keep moving here. So, Justin, you went to EGX.
I did go to EGX. So
the one that's not in Germany.
Yeah.
What is the English-German Expo, right?
Yeah, so it's the Electronic Gaming Expo, as I recall. I don't think I ever fully understood what the letters stood for, but I assume Electronic Gaming Expo. So before I start this off, I do want to say, I mentioned before, thank you so much to our Patreon supporters, because of your support, that allowed us the ability to do this, right? That was a huge thing we were able to support. I also want to give a huge, amazing shout out to Gary Gray. So Gary was kind enough, him and his family, to host me in their house for like 3 days. And that was incredible. I got to stay with his family, meet his wonderful wife and young daughter. I slept on their floor. We basically, we drove into Birmingham every single day, which I didn't realize is an hour drive every single day in and out, which was incredible. Just an amazing person to hang out with. So I'm so lucky, and he helped me with a lot of the stuff that weekend as well. He did a lot of video filming, so huge props to Gary Gray. Thank you. So check out Topic Nintendo. That is his podcast. You need to check that as well.
On the Dave Space Podcast Network.
Yeah, exactly. On the Dave Space Podcast Network thing. Good plug there, Dave. I like that. Also got an opportunity to actually meet Paul Lloyd, a good friend of the show and supporter. Paul Lloyd. He got to meet with his wonderful family. We all went out for dinner and had some beers and pizza. And it was just fantastic to meet with supporters of our show, meet fans of our show. It was really awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for that. I am indebted and grateful. We've already had chats about doing it again next year for 2018. So,
can you fly me over next year?
Depends on what Patreon level we're reaching.
Well, I mean, I know that it will be extremely hard to fly into Germany.
Sure. Yeah. You son of a. All right. So EGX was really awesome. As a side note, I have put up, I think, 8 videos about my experience at EGX on our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go check it out. So Nintendo had a really huge presence there. I had an opportunity to play Super Mario Galaxy. Sorry, not Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Odyssey. There it is. Which was really amazing. I got 10 minutes with that. The Friday I got in there, the doors opened at 10 o'clock. It was kind of like early access was at 10, then 11 o'clock, the doors opened to everyone else. Then there was another time the doors opened at 2 for another group of people. But because of the media access, we were able to get in at 10. Doors open, you kind of go rushing, and everyone kind of swarms out to where they are. And I'm going towards the big booth because you can kind of track where you're going and where their games are. So I know I have the map. And I'm going. And just before there's Ubisoft's booth. And Ubisoft has that huge Rabbids Mario Kong statue, right, that we've seen everywhere that everyone's got their photo with, and there's no lineup. I was like, oh, sweet, I'm going to get my photo with that, like, right now. So, like, I run, get in front, take my photo, haha, great. So then, and then run back, and then I'm running back to get into line for Odyssey. Because I stopped for about 3 minutes to play Odyssey, the lineup was an additional 30 minutes for me having to wait. I was like, this is mad. So I spent an hour in line waiting to play Odyssey. Odyssey is absolutely amazing. I played it with the detached Joy-Cons, which I wish I didn't really like that part. I wish it was like either like Joy-Con together or the Pro Grip or the Pro Controller. But it felt really cool. They were really emphasizing, if you shake your hand this way, he'll throw the cappy. If you shake it like down like this, it kind of goes like a bandsaw and then comes back. So they really emphasized the motion control of Cappy. So they really emphasized that. It was a really cool effect. I liked it. I only played the Sand World. You only had to choose from 2, New Donk City or the Sand one. I played the Sand one. I found at times the camera was a bit wonky, to be completely honest. Like I felt the camera wasn't like I had to really work. Sometimes it reminded me very much of when you had to like work the camera a bit in Super Mario 64. So I found that a couple of times. But I'm sure that may have just been a little bit of like just jumping in and playing. You've got 10 minutes essentially. You've got someone yapping in your ear. So there's a little bit of everything going on. The world is just incredibly vast. You want to explore everything. And I said in the video, but sometimes you forget that the mechanic, like I'm just playing it like a normal Mario level. Sometimes you forget the mechanic is Cappy, right? So a great example was I was stuck in this area, and I was trying to jump up the wall to this top of a roof, and I couldn't get there, and it was just short. And I'm like, okay, maybe I hit the wrong button combo. And there was this, it looked like a flower, I think, or something right in front of the building, and I thought, okay, I'll have to jump on that. And then finally, the PR rep is like, well, just throw Cappy at that. And as soon as I threw Cappy at it, it opened up to be like a trampoline. So I jumped on the trampoline, and I was on top of the roof. So just a little bit of function. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's exactly what we want it to be. This will definitely be a contender for Game of the Year without doubt. Amazing. I cannot wait for Odyssey, which is less than a month away. So
that's crazy.
I don't know. Any thoughts on or any questions on Odyssey? I don't want to also spoil too much of it.
So no, that's amazing. I don't actually want you to like, you know.
Well, the question I had was that, the motion controls are there, right? Yeah. But was there ever a time, and I know you, like you said, you've got this person talking in your ear and you've got a time limit. Was there ever a time that the motion controls just severely took you out of the game to the point where you're like, I hate this?
No.
Not like Galaxy, because that's why I hate Galaxy.
Yeah, no, it never took me out of it. And to be honest, Marty, like I very rarely play with the motion controls like detached and do that. But playing the demo like that, I was like, I could see how this could be really fun and easy to do. Right, so it never took me out of it. Yeah, so good question. There were some other really cool mechanics, like when you actually throw your hat. Like I threw my hat on the bullet bill and got to like zoom around as the bullet bill. That was really a very cool kind of experience. Yeah, it's the other nice part is you collect the moon pieces, and you collect them, and you're not done the level. Like it doesn't like pull you out and be like, hey, your moon piece is done. You just continue exploring. And sorry, was that Zach?
No. Sorry, continue.
Yeah,
no,
yeah. So I thought that was. Yeah, I thought that was really incredible. So, and I'm very much like I said to Gary, I said I want to go play Odyssey. It's my first thing I want to play. Record my feelings about it, and then like I'm done. Like I don't want to get spoiled. I don't want to watch anything from anybody else on Odyssey. I want to just experience on my own. Actually, into a point where, at the end of the day, the conference closes at like 7. About 6:30, I kind of like wandered by Nintendo's booths, and the lineup for Odyssey, there was like 3 people in line. And I was like, I really want to jump back in line and play New Donk City, right? And get my hands on that. But I'm like, but if I do, that's something that's taken away from me. Do you know what I mean? Because you've experienced that. Yep. So I like stood from afar and just watched, and I was like, oh, this hurts. This hurts so much. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And like literally as I took the steps forward to do it, the PR guy came and closed the line, like shoom, closed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, you're a stronger man than I. Thank you. Right. So yeah, Mario Odyssey, amazing, absolutely amazing. What else did I play? So I'll tell you a couple of things I played at the Nintendo booth really quickly. I did play Skyrim. So I've never played Skyrim before. Skyrim is not for me. It's just not my kind of game. I didn't really enjoy it. The demo, it seemed to run fairly smooth. Like it was fine. There wasn't anything too glitchy that I found. But like the demo just kind of dropped me in the middle of a forest, and I'm running around. There was nothing there at all to do. So it kind of felt very empty. And I think I think there's a lot of comparisons between Breath of the Wild and Skyrim. And I think what I would say to that is the feeling that I had is that in the Breath of the Wild, there is a life, there is a heart to it. The environment is always active in some way. And Skyrim felt very empty. And I don't know if that was just a spot I was in, but it just felt very empty and very just kind of there. It didn't feel like something I didn't want to take a look around. I didn't really care to see what else was going on. It was just there. It felt fine, and they were playing. It was in the handheld mode. But yeah, I played it for about 10 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good here. Yeah, that was kind of it for that one. What else did I play? I can talk about some of the Nindies. We can talk about those if you want. So Nindies was a pretty huge presence there. They had a specific booth dedicated to Nindies. So there was 8 games there. There was Unboxed, Super Meat Boy Forever, Worms, WMD, Shakedown, Hunt Down, Datara, Rogue Troopers Redux, Dimension Drive, and Flat Heroes. So I'll give you Cole's Notes versions for all of them. Unboxing was really unpolished and early development and was not good. And playing it, I played it for about a minute and a half because the controls angered me and the camera was garbage. Super Meat Boy Forever was really awesome. And I had not played Super Meat Boy or Meat Boy before. It's addictive. It was really great to play. And actually, just for those of you that don't know, I actually got an opportunity to sit down with the developer Tommy, and we had an hour-long interview about the game. He was really open about the experience. I actually have him playing the game, both in audio and video. So we are going to publish that on our channel. I just need to do some edits because he may have cussed a couple of times, so we need to do some adjustments to that. What else was there? Worms MD. If you've played Worms before, this is pretty much the same, but on a console. So I actually found the controls to that just be a little bit clunky because there was a lot of controls to it, but it wasn't bad. Hunt Down was a 16-bit bro dude game, which the developer came over and played with me and it was fun. But I was like they seemed to have a good time with it. But I was like, it was like kind of like, do you remember all the '80s movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme? Yeah, it's kind of like that, but in a video game. And I was like, yeah, but it's not good. It's not a good video game. So I did not enjoy that one. Tatara is Metroidvania 8-bit game, which you have to keep an eye out for this one. It was really incredible. I would definitely say one of my favorite games for sure. You kind of you jump around from place to place, like you wall jump. There's no like standardized walking. So you kind of like move yourself in about 180-degree angles, and you can only land on very specific things. Very cool art style, very cool concept. It's a video on our YouTube channel about it. Trooper Redux or Rogue Troop Redux is a PlayStation game that's being ported to the Switch. Not cool. Don't do that. Dimension Divide or Dimension Drive. Let me see what that one was. Dimension Drive. There it is. There's the card for it, by the way. Dimension Drive. This one's really cool. It was a game where the screen was split in two, and you were like a shooter on one side, and then there was this kind of like they called the AI on the other side of the screen, and it's going parallel with you, and so you're having ships come down on one side and you're shooting them, and then what you can do is you can actually jump your ship over to where the AI thing is. The AI thing swaps, and now you have ships on this side. You're having to weave kind of back and forth. So you're jumping your ship between screens back and forth to avoid either enemies or to get power-ups. So it's a really cool concept. I like that one. And then Flat Heroes. Originally, they said it's a very minimalistic game, and you are a square, and you're like a little cube within a large simple square, and then things start like shooting at you, and you just kind of like jump around and try and avoid it. Which is great, but where the chaos comes into is 4-player survival mode. And then all of a sudden, like all kinds of lines and things are being shot at you in the screen. And so if Jesse and I, or if all of us are playing, all of a sudden one of us can die, you can jump and go and like re-heal the other one. It is mad couch co-op. It is really awesome 4-player. This was so many people crowded around and watched this one and wanted to get their hands on. So it is really incredible. I would highly recommend Flat Heroes for when it comes out. So those are the ones that Nintendo was promoting. I'll take a pause there. Questions? I'm losing Dave. He's yawning, so that's cool.
So all of these were in the Nintendo booth?
These were all, so Nintendo had 3 booths there. So they had the primary big booth that had like Odyssey, and then they had a Nindies section where it was these 8 games clumped together with the PR team there. And they were kind of down closer to like indie games as well. There was kind of one section that was kind of like, here's the indie room section, and then here's the big, Microsoft is over here, Sony's over there, Nintendo's there. And then there was the third area, which was Nintendo had, which was for their tournaments, which were they did Splatoon and ARMS and Pokken and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is down the indie section. A couple other indies, and I'll pause there. Any other questions from you guys at all?
So Nintendo, besides Odyssey and Skyrim, was not showing off anything new?
No, I mean, the other things they had there, they had Fire Emblem Warriors. I did not play that one. They had Lego World. They had ARMS, which was a large queue for ARMS, actually. They had a huge section also just for Splatoon. They had FIFA. What else did they have? They had Sonic Mania. And there was
Sonic Forces.
Sonic Forces was actually at a different booth altogether, and that was from the Sega group, and that was hot piece of trailer park burning fire. And then what else they had? And then they actually had the 3DS. Now, interestingly enough, the 3DS section, they had 8 3DSs out. And so it was like a kind of a table of 8, right? One half was Metroid. And that was pretty much like that one was always pretty much busy. Like there was never a queue, but like when you walk past, someone was always on a Metroid game. The other side of the queue there was 2 Mario and Luigi, and then there was 2 Monster Hunter stories. And there was very rarely people there and never a queue. So when Gary and I decided to go play the Mario and Luigi on Saturday at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is like busy time, you would think, right? There was nobody there. We got on to Mario and Luigi instantly. So that was kind of interesting from that perspective for sure.
We have another question in the chat about going back to Mario Odyssey from Jeremy. When you capture something, is there a time limit when you take control?
From when you take control, is there a time limit for kind of leaving it? Not that I experienced like at all.
Distance thing, maybe. Like, is there like a tether of like if you get far enough away from where you captured it, do you?
I didn't see it, and I wasn't trying to kind of like see how far that went. So like I was a bullet bill at one point. You kind of got to get across this chasm, and I was very easily got across the chasm, and then like the bullet bill hit a wall, which I was like, oh, so I'm gonna die, right? And the moment I hit the wall, I just instantly jumped back into Mario. So I didn't see any time limit. There was another one where I used it as like a periscope, and I skyrocketed in the air, and I was just kind of like up there for what felt like 15 to probably about 30 seconds looking around, and there was no like beep, 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 beep. It just kind of like stayed there and let me do what I wanted. So I didn't experience a time limit. Not to say that one may not exist, but I didn't experience it during my gameplay. Yeah. Couple other games that I played that you guys should keep an eye out for. Bomber Crew, which was very cool. You get to play as it's kind of like a people manager kind of game. You get to play as a bomber crew in World War II. And what happens, you have specific missions. You're flying out there. You're flying out to complete a mission. So ours was to photo a specific area and then bomb it. But what happens is then like enemies come in and start fighting, and you have to manage what's going on within the plane, right? So, oh no, there's a fire in the plane, so one of your guys has to get on. You have to either take your artillery guy or your pilot or your guy who's capturing photos, and then maybe get them out of their position to stop the fire that's in the plane, right? Or, oh no, my artillery guy was hit. He's going to die. Okay, I need to go have someone go help him. So someone has to leave their current position to go save him. Also, if he dies, who is my backup artillery person? So it's kind of really cool. Bomber Crew was very, 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 very cool experience, actually. What else did I play? A couple other games I need to bring to your attention. IOPS, INOPS, is an incredible game by a 3-man crew, ZRZ Games, and it is you play as like this black blob, and the environment is very kind of shadowy, kind of Forma 8 kind of reminds me of that. And you have to collect all the other little black blobs which are part of your family, and you bring them together, and you have to get them through these environmental dangers. And there was a lot of it was very artsy, but it was very kind of a story about family, a story about fear, a story about being young and afraid. And it was a very cool game. And I love the art style of it. It reminded me a little bit of World of Goo, a little bit of Forma 8. So keep an eye out for that one. Shu was another game, SHU. That's on other platforms currently, I believe Shu is, but that was a really cool, beautiful art-styled game where you played as 3 characters, essentially. One was like the heavy, one was kind of able to open up special doors, and one was able to kind of like float around the world very, very easily. So you had to use them for very specific tasks. It was a very cool experience. Yuki Island Express is a pinball platformer,
wow.
which it's really weird. You play as a little ant who is now taken over as the mail carrier for a island, and essentially he's carrying around this little nut, and he falls into a hole, and basically there's the pinball aspects of it. You have to shoot around and unlock things. And this is done by Team 17. And then sometimes your little character will shoot up to like the surface, and he'll be able to walk around with his little nut, and then he drops it again, and then you're through into pinball again, right? And you've got to unlock things and collect things through pinball. It's a very cool experience. This one was very busy almost all the time. So keep an eye out for Yuki Yoku Island Express.
Yoki.
That was very, very cool. Yeah. So those are some of the big ones I played. A lot of amazing games. There is a whole ton. Like I've got a whole schwackload of other leaflets here of games that I played that I don't want to take up like an hour talking about games, but yeah, some amazing stuff. Check out a video that Gary and I did. We did about an 18-minute video about all these tons of the games we played that were Nindies as well.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Before we kind of move on up, probably in about 30 seconds to a minute, can you kind of expound on why Sonic Forces was a dumpster fire?
Sure. Yeah. And in all fairness, like it's funny because people are like, "Oh, this is so link baity." Yeah, it was absolutely link baity, and you clicked it, you dummy. So here's how it worked. It is not for me hating on Sonic. Let me express that right now. So I got to the booth, and sat down to play it, and you got to choose from a couple different levels. I wish I could remember what they were called. So I chose the first one, and actually the first one was actually kind of good. It was very, very traditional side-scrolling. I was going against Dr. Eggman, and it was like an end boss battle. It was actually quite hard. I was able to complete it. I was like, oh, that was really cool, and that was kind of like the demo was contained in that. And I was like, okay, cool, awesome. And actually, and so I played that one first, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a really good experience. Like, okay, I'm like, Zach's gonna love this game. This is gonna be really good. And then I tapped into the other version of it, and it was the 3D Sonic. And this is really where the dumpster fire begins, is 3D Sonic, and you're running forward. I found it was super glitchy and choppy on the Switch. That's what I played it on. The controls were horrible. I never once actually felt I was in control in any way. You would be kind of spinning along, and then you had to jump, and you weren't able to jump, and you'd hit a wall, and then I couldn't actually figure out how to jump properly to get up. You couldn't really control your character as they were going. Like the controls were not tight or good in any way, and the frame rate glitch was really bad. Like it was taking pauses. Like it was basically pause, stop at times. Like, and I understand it may be an early build, but I'd be very, and I said this in my review, I'd be very cautious. Like if you really love Sonic and this is something you want to play, I would either wait for reviews come out, or I'd try and get a demo of it, or maybe a friend's got it beforehand, but I would not immediately pull the trigger on this. This is, and here's the thing is I think everyone's on a hype and love for Sonic Mania, that they may just pull the trigger on Sonic Forces because of it, and they have to realize that this is a very different game.
And it's not by the super fans, it's made by Sonic Team.
Yeah, and it was funny, it was one of those things that like people were showing up and they were giving away free posters, and they're like, "Oh, can I have a free poster?" And the person's like, "Not until you demo the game." And it was kind of like no, you had to work to earn your poster. Wow. Yeah, it was it like I said, the first level I played I thought was really quite good, but the second level like it was it was not good.
Coming from somebody who played Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors, both good-ish Sonic games, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand why they can't just realize that these side-scrolling, like HD, like 2D style levels are the best Sonic that we've gotten in 2017. Like, I don't understand why they can't just figure that out and just stop making us run forward. Like, you know, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, 3D Sonic has its highlights. It has its moments. It has these moments of brilliance, like, especially like the multiplayer.
Yeah.
But then, like, most of it's garbage. And it's just the truth. Like, can you please just realize, like, you've got, like, 3 good 3D levels, but not, like, a whole game worth.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I'm trying to remember back to when Sonic Adventure came out, because Sonic Adventure was the first 3D Sonic game, right?
Right.
Okay, so was that, I think it was 99 or 2000, right?
Close, yeah.
So we've been 20 years almost in to 3D Sonic.
It was really late 98.
Yeah, okay. So definitely almost 20 years into 3D Sonic. Is there not a moment of realization where it's like 3D Sonic doesn't work, people? And it's never going to work because the whole element of Sonic is not about 3D environments. It's large spanning 2D levels that encourage speed and encourage you to like have that thrill ride moment, you know, where you're rushing through as fast as you can. And I found a new part of this world. Yeah. Not I've got to rail grind on this rail just right so that it doesn't knock me off into the abyss.
I don't want to like limit. Here's the thing. My problem with that is that if that same argument would have been, you know, like Mario has been able to successfully transfer from 2D to 3D and back and whatever. Like I don't think that pigeonholing the Sonic franchise into a specific like format is necessarily the answer. It just sounds like they aren't doing it well, right? Like I'm perfectly confident that given a competent professional, really good quality developer, you could make a really cool 3D Sonic game. It's just that they're like, because like I fully believe that it's possible. They're just failing to do it over and over and over again, right? And I think that's the issue, and that they seem to not have any understanding of how or like of why it's failing over and over again. Like they are making similar types of mistakes.
And it doesn't matter, Zach, because they're going to sell 1,000 bazillion copies to Sonic fans. Like it doesn't matter if they make the same mistake over and over and over.
There's going to be a rabid community of fans who will defend this as if it's the gospel of Sonic the Hedgehog until the very bitter end. Yeah. No matter how bad it is, and until that fan base rots away, 3D Sonic isn't going to get any better.
And I think here's the issue, and I know that I poked the Sonic community, and I know that I poked Zach about it, right? And I do that, I poke Zach because I like to bug Zach. Zach and I have that friendship, right? But here's what I would say.
Oh, says you.
Yeah. Here, really, he's turning the camera off. He's crying himself to sleep. I wanted this to be good, and I wanted this to be good not for me because I don't give a rat's. But I want it to be good for those who enjoy Sonic, because the fever and the pitch and the excitement that I saw around Sonic Mania, and like how happy Zach you were for it, and all of our community in line, and just like, yeah, Sonic's back, this is awesome. I was like, oh, that's great, because I think that a character that was beloved and has had a tough time, to have it kind of resurrected in a way that's good, that's enjoyable, that brings back nostalgia, which brings back amazing memories, is not only good for that individual, but good for the character, the brand, the community, and video games in general, right? And I think with Sonic Mania, there has been 15 steps forward, which is awesome, right? And I was like, this is amazing. I mean, I nearly bought Sonic Mania based on how hyped these guys are, and I'm not a huge Sonic fan. It's not my kind of game. But then to go play Sonic Forces, and again, I played that first level against Eggman, and I thought, yeah, this is really cool. And then I played the other one, and it was just tough, and I felt so bad because it was like 20. I said in the video, it's like 20 steps forward, and then you hit a brick wall, and you lost all your rings. Right, the defeating feeling of I've got to start over again. I'm on my last life is how I felt when I finished playing that game, and I mean the Sonic fans that came out on the YouTube channel and basically roasted me and Gary for saying anything malicious about it. It was quite funny actually, but like there is a passion for it, and I'd rather do well than it fail. So
yeah, and here's the thing: like I can sit here and laugh and joke about it, which is mainly what I'm doing. But if this was like a Mega Man reboot and it was turning out badly, I would try my best to defend it too.
Yeah.
But and here's the thing, like you would hope that whatever it is that one game franchise that we just seriously nerd out about, you would hope that you would be able to at least tell right from wrong in that, but you usually can't.
Yeah.
It's because you want it so badly to be good.
Imagine if we were all 2 weeks, if we had just finished Metroid Samus Returns and it was terrible.
Yeah.
What would our actual reaction to the game be, right? We would be looking for every single possible shining, redeeming value, anything redeeming in this game, we would be highlighting it, and you know what I mean? Like that is I think something really important to keep in mind, is that that's basically what they will do, and we need to prepare ourselves for that. And also that those redeeming qualities, they aren't wrong either when they do when they point something out that is good. Like they're not wrong in their, like, there's no such thing as a wrong opinion, as terrible as that might be. Well, maybe and
again, this is my opinion, right? My opinion as a person who played it, and I'm sure that I'm going to get lambasted of like, you, when it finally comes out, it was the greatest game ever, you're a horrible person, and you should rot in hell, or whatever it is. But that could happen, but that's my opinion, right? Just like I know that JRPGs are not for me, or Picross isn't for me. But I went pretty open into this one, and I asked for a little bit of validation from Gary as well. I was like, is it just me, right? And do I have a bias towards this game where I think it's garbage, or is it actually garbage?
Well, and when I messaged you too, that was exactly what you said. The very first thing you said was, "No, Gary said it's bad too. It's okay."
I wasn't just
justification.
Wasn't just picking on you, Zach. It was really not good. So, just before we wrap up the EGX thing, I just, and I know I called these games, but I've started a list of what I believe are the top 5 games for the Nindies, from my experience there, that you need to keep an eye out for. First, number 1 is Super Meat Boy Forever. You need to pick that up, no doubt. Shu, you need to pick up. Inops, you need to pick up. Dataria, and Flat Heroes. Those are my top 5 Nindy games from EGX. I'm going to put a link up in once I write the article on VG Tribune as well. But there is amazing games. I would say this: so many games are being developed for the Nintendo Switch from the Nindy team. It's incredible. And also, the other thing I would say for people who are attending these kind of experiences, as like a game developer, you need to put on your board what system you're developing for. So me and Gary walked past this large booth, and it was for actually a game called, what was it here? Shift Quantum. Okay, there it is. Really cool concept. And I was like, looks like it's just for PC. Gonna move on. And they're like, oh, why don't you guys play? I'm like, well, I'm kind of looking for Switch games. And they're like, oh, it is coming to Switch in 2018. I'm like, at no point does your board here say at what system it's coming to at all. You just have it running on PCs with a couple of controllers. So you don't tell me what that is. What is wrong with you? So, yeah.
I like it. Very cool, man. Right on. Well, that's a whole lot of EGX. Thank you, Germany, for hosting Justin. That's great.
Birmingham, England. I'm sorry.
Right on. All right. Well, let's get into what we've been playing, shall we?
Do it.
All right. So this week we've got a couple of big games we're going to talk about, as well as kind of do a round robin sort of quick fire thing as well. The big game from the last week, of course, everybody's been talking about SteamWorld Dig 2. Since the last show, it's actually come out. Everybody's been playing it. I have not. This is a game that I actually have not downloaded yet. I haven't bought it. Just because I've got a ton of other stuff going on. I've actually played more 3DS than Switch in the past week. Actually, probably in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I've played more 3DS than Switch. But who's playing SteamWorld Dig 2? Who's got it?
I've completed
Justin,
it.
you got it.
Yep.
Why don't you lead this business? What's going on?
Yeah, I thought SteamWorld Dig 2 is a repeat of SteamWorld, the original, essentially. If you played SteamWorld 1, you kind of know the idea behind SteamWorld 2. But it is a really cool game. I love the mechanics of it. The art style looks great. Fun gameplay, kind of Metroidvania. I know that term's thrown around for a lot of everything nowadays, but it definitely has that aspect. Some control or some management of your gear management, exploration. I just like the game. Jesse, you finished it, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't 100% it, but I did get to the end. I beat the end boss, got the credit roll, and I enjoyed it. I don't think I'll ever go back and actually try to 100% it, but I did enjoy what I played. And I'm actually wanting to replay the original game because I completely forgot what happened there. And I know it's a short game. It's like a 4-hour game, the original one.
Yeah.
And this one I finished in a little over 10 hours.
Yeah, and the developer of this is Image and Form. They've done the original SteamWorld, they've done SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig 2. So they've created this kind of environment, this world, kind of steampunkian Western, which is really cool. All the characters have their own personalities. Very engaging environment. It's like they just Image and Form just do amazing work, right? They're a great developer to support, and these are the kind of games that you love playing on the Switch, right? I'm happy that I have this, and I know I'll be playing it again for sure. Marty, what about you?
Yeah, I caved and bought this game. See what I did there?
I see exactly what you did there.
Cave like you're digging
Yeah, and originally I wasn't going to buy it. I was going to wait until I cleared some more stuff off my slate before I purchased. But just hearing so many people, especially folks in our line chat, talk about it and just talk about how good it is and how much fun they're having with it. I actually just finished SteamWorld Dig 1 at the end of last week. I had never finished it, so I decided to power on through it. And so playing it so close to SteamWorld Dig, the original, it really is apparent how much Image and Form has fine-tuned the mechanics of this game and made it, at the same time, made it more challenging, but also way more accessible, if that's a thing. Because, when you're playing SteamWorld Dig 1, there were times that you had to be very careful about, I don't need to dig down here and get stuck.
Yeah.
Like with no way to get up. And they've kind of managed that and managed to do some different things with that in this game with the grappling hook and the pressure bombs and different things like that. But one thing I definitely think that people, if you've only played SteamWorld Dig, you may not be prepared for in this game is how much more combat there is in SteamWorld Dig 2 than there is in the first one. The first one kind of felt like this isolationist alien exploration, Minecraft meets Metroid meets Castlevania type thing with the occasional enemy thrown in. There's enemies everywhere in this game. They respawn. They're always present, and that's good because you have to kill them to level up and unlock different things. But there's some things that don't transfer over from the original game that I wish did. And one of those is being like, if you die due to a rock falling on you or combat or something, you don't have loot to go back and get anymore.
Yeah.
It automatically gives you some, but there was that element of, I got to go back. I got to find it. I got to, but other than that, man, it's such a fantastic game. And I love this universe that Image and Form has built. And there's, I don't know, I'm probably about an hour and a half into it. I haven't gotten to put that much time into it. I just got the grappling hook and got to the temple. Yeah. And I'm kind of going down in that. So,
I don't think you and I are too far off then, actually, Marty.
Yeah. So it's one of those games that, and these games are pretty rare for me now as I have more limited time. It's just one of those that kind of grabs you and holds you. And I've just got to dig a little bit more. I've just got to go find a cave. I've got to go see what's beyond this corner, and it makes you want to keep going. And so kudos, Image and Form. It's fantastic. I think this is, I would honestly say, is a must own for every Switch owner. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet from them or someone reporting saying that of the 3 games in the franchise, this had the most sales in the first week.
Yeah, and for those of you that have listened long enough, a couple of years ago, I think I named SteamWorld Heist my favorite game of 2015. I think, right, for the handheld, for the 3DS, it was incredible. They just do an awesome job. They just do amazing work. So that's what I do. What's going on with you, Dave? What's going on, Dave? Dave Moore.
Yeah. Hey, Justin. How are you?
Hey, good buddy. You? How are you?
Dave, playing SteamWorld?
No, I never played the first one. I didn't play Heist. My co-host likes Heist. He didn't like Dig. I don't know. Didn't draw me in, guys. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal.
I didn't. I actually haven't either. It's going to be it's a big. I don't know. I played some of SteamWorld Dig and it was just kind of like, like Marty, you played SteamWorld Dig. What's the difference between Dig and Dig 2?
The number 2.
No.
If
the combat is different. I feel like the pacing is different in that the first game, like I said, I feel like the first game is more exploration weighted.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in SteamWorld Dig 2, exploration is a thing you can do, but it's not like the core mechanic of the game.
Plus, like Dig 2, we should be clear too, like it's actually a designed world map instead of like randomly generated. The first one was randomly generated, right? Whereas the second one,
the first one was not randomly generated. It probably felt that way. Because of the exploration out aspect of it. But this feels like SteamWorld Dig feels like they took a concept and then they made Dig 2 and they built a world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now there's like this whole Dig universe, and it's just kind of opening up as you play this game. And so it's like it takes, if you like Dig and there's good things about it. It takes all of those good things and it adds more good things, and it just makes a fantastic game.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
And like sound quality, music. The music is totally atmospheric and on point. The controls are fantastic. It's funny. The dialogue's good. So I've just not really found anything disappointing about it yet.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on, man.
And
Dave.
I'm not sure if I should say this now or wait a week, but it does leave a door open for a third game.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's probably not a shocker.
Yeah.
Dave,
I'm okay with that.
I'd like them if they're gonna do something else with SteamWorld. I hope they do like a different genre, the way they did Heist. Like do something else. Like wasn't there like a rumor about SteamWorld Quest, like as an RPG or something? Like that was a thing that happened. I swear.
Yeah. I think you're right. We'd have to bring Bobby on to recall all of the Image and Forum work that's done. I think he's probably more the expert on that. But I do want to think you're right. I do think there was like a third kind of pillar genre they were going into. But I love the idea that like the world they've created, this steampunk world.
No, the Steam world is cool. It's I don't know. It's the
take on that genre, right?
Yeah, I just don't get it. Here's a game you guys should be playing.
Okay.
And you should all buy it. You should buy Infinite Mini Golf for the Switch.
Infinite Mini Golf. Now, Dave, before we go into Infinite Mini Golf, I would be remiss not to do this. We received a tweet for you, sir. Specifically.
Okay.
This is from our good friend Adam Leonard of the Mega Dads, and he wants me to tell you that he's not your friend.
I'm aware.
Okay,
That's
cool.
Perfect. What? I don't want to get involved in this drama. What is this?
Now, Dave, tell us more about Infinite Mini Golf.
Infinite Mini Golf, because I'm going to ignore you, Adam. Infinite Mini Golf is a Switch game. I do not know the developer, but it's very simplistic yet enjoyable. Like, people build their own levels, and there's also thousands and thousands of levels in this. Just mini golf. You're just playing mini golf. It's great. That is the secret of it. It's like you get online, you can play with your friends, you can play against people for points. You can make your own courses.
The developer is Zen Studios, so the Zen Pinball people.
Okay.
Okay.
But it is an endless amount of mini golf. It is infinite, so to speak. And you go ahead, Justin.
Sorry, so you create your own levels? So there's a level creator in this.
There is a level creator. You unlock by playing the game. You unlock more parts. There's like weird like elevators and like you got to hit these like things to bounce things. You got to like sometimes you can play with different shaped balls. It's
You're gonna leave that one alone.
I mean.
Oh
sometimes you're playing with cheese balls in Marty's mouth. I mean, that's a thing that happens apparently.
But I didn't realize I was in this game, Dave.
You can be because you get to create your own character too.
Here's the thing. I'm just going to reel it back here. You said infinite, so to speak. I really don't feel like there's wiggle room there. It's either infinite or it's not.
It is infinite because it's always being added to because there are always people making new levels.
Have you made a level?
No, I have not. I learned from Mario Maker. Like I grew up playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? I was like, man, I make the best skate parks in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And then I got Mario Maker. It was like, yep, I know nothing about level design. I'm done. I'm done creating things. Just podcasts. I don't make anything else.
So
Mario Maker, crusher of dreams.
Just to make sure that no one's confused, there is an Infinite Golf on the 3DS for $2. That's probably not the same game as the $15 one on the Switch. That's Infinite Mini Golf,
which is totally worth $15 though. Infinite Mini Golf.
Okay, and it says it's up to 8 players.
Yep. I've only played it with 2. You pull on the analog sticks to get power. You gotta aim. I mean, it's golf. It's golf. We've all played it before, but it's weird because they'll be like, "Here's a triangular ball." That doesn't function the same way as this round ball. And cool. here's an elevator you gotta hit into, and for some reason we're in Santa's workshop in the North Pole, and there's ski lifts, and it's weird. It's great though.
And how much is this game?
$15.
20 on the Canadian eShop. I'm there right now.
All the rest of you are playing Golf Story this week. I'm going to be playing Infinite Mini Golf.
Marty, you were.
Yeah,
I'm
actually look into this. This looks interesting.
Here's the brilliance, though, Marty, is you don't have to invest time. It's not an RPG. It's really pick up and play, which is why I like it so much.
You had me at. You don't have to invest time.
Buy a game that you don't have to play. Is that
but that's called I Am Setsuna, which I bought and have never started.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You can just pick it up, play it for 10 minutes, and then put it back down, and you feel like you accomplished something because you're getting points and coins to unlock. I don't know how that works, but the point is just to continuously play endless mini golf. There's monster trucks rolling around on the course. It's weird, man. It's great.
That sounds crazy. Also, I'd also be remiss to tell you about the update that we've had since the dissing of Adam Leonard. Mr. Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the juice box, says that Dave, he's my friend, and Adam is also his friend.
Oh, so, well, I'm Sean's friend.
He says he's totally bragging about that. Yeah, Sean's kind of like that. Bragger.
Hey, this on Playground Rumble Dads.
No kidding, right?
Yeah. Right on. Okay, so I have another game that we got a review copy. It just showed up at my house. That's how Nintendo rolls, by the way. Up in Canada, Nintendo just hardcore, just bards randomly with games, which is amazing. And it's you never know, which is pretty exciting. You know what they say, Nintendo in general.
Like a box of chocolates. You never know what you are going to get.
That's what it's like. So anyways, so I have right now, for you live listeners, where are we? Here?
Right there.
That right there. This is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. Which is a game that is coming out on October 6th. And I have been playing quite a bit of this so far. I don't really know quite how far. I've never actually played this game, the original of this game. So
here's a good way to test your time. If you're tired of that game, since it's a game in the Mario and Luigi franchise, about the time you get tired of it, there's about 7 to 10 more hours of it.
Yeah, that's probably true. And
Isn't that right, Jesse?
And you're only about 30 minutes in.
No, I'm about 5 hours in. Is what it's.
Oh yeah, you've got another good 70 hours of hauling beans up out of the dirt.
Yeah. So the other thing that's interesting about this game is I don't know exactly what. Again, like I said, I've never played it before, but the cool addition to this is, where is it? Minion Quest, which is the search for Bowser, and it's like a whole different mode. So if you know, I think mainly, as far as the actual game goes, it looks like it's obviously running first thing, I have Dream Team on my 3DS saved on there. I got it on a Boxing Day, sort of holiday deal, or it was I don't know, some holiday deal that I got it for cheap, and that game is in 3D. This game is not. And now my hatred for non-3D 3DS games is well established on this show. They already have this engine running in like the previous 2 games ran in 3D. Did they not? Like do they do you guys use the I don't know if we've ever talked about the 3D.
What was the last one? Dream Team? No. Dream Team was in 3D. Absolutely.
No, Paper Jam. What about Paper Jam?
Paper Jam was in 3D.
Yeah. Do you guys play with the 3D on? I don't know if we've ever talked about this.
I do not.
I like to play 3D on when available.
I'm almost always have it. I have it up.
I might as well have broke the slider to be off all the time because I hated it so much.
Right. So that's like, and I play with the 3D on as often as possible. And so for me, like I'm actually finding, you remember when the 3DS first was announced and they were like, oh, when you play 3D Land, you can actually tell the depth and you can whatever, right? I actually am finding that now that this game is only in 2D, I'm actually finding myself like, oh, like I wish the 3D was on because I missed that jump, or I don't know how far away I am, like because it's kind of at that sort of angle, right, where you don't necessarily know. They want you to jump from one platform to the other across different things. I'm finding that's again, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm just noticing that the 3D is missing, and I'm like, it's almost like my brain is expecting it to be there, and so when it's not there, it makes it a little bit more challenging. I don't know, it's weird. It just bugs me that the last 2 games that were in the same engine were in 3D, and then for some reason they just didn't put it in for this one. It doesn't make sense.
Because you guys are the only ones who care about 3D.
Right, but like they would have actively had to take it out. Is my point? Like the 3D is already there, right? The 3D,
or maybe it's just like a switch they leave flipped. When they export the code. Do you want it to be in 3D? Do you want it to be in 2D?
No, it's just stupid. I hate that. So anyway, so that's the 3D. It is in 3D. It's a really good looking game.
I hate to bring this back. Did they create new assets for this game?
Oh yeah.
Well, then there's your reason why. Because it's not just a visual thing. I mean, the physical, like actual models and layers that create the 3D space, right, have to be developed with 3D in mind. I'm sure of it, right? So if they didn't want to do this and they wanted to create new things, it's easier to just turn the engine off and not have to create 3D space related assets.
They can cheat it more, is what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So like as far as this game goes, like it is a full like port of that or remake of the original. Marty, you were saying last week, and I hadn't played this, and honestly, I don't know if I even would have necessarily I don't necessarily have a lot of time to play games right now. But I do have this, and now that it's on the 3DS, it's like I have it now and I've been playing it and I kind of have gotten sucked in. The writing in this one, Marty, last week you said that it's really good.
It's probably my favorite dialogue in any game ever.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. And so I've really been enjoying the thing. I just finished. I've been bouncing back and forth between the main game and the Minions quest. What's his name? The prince dude, where he gives you the thing, and then I just repaired some plumbing or something. Anyways, I just got the ability where you can squish each other with the hammers. I guess maybe that's a way of doing that. First off, it's really amazing me that like how much, knowing what I know about this game and the variety of like the brothers attacks and stuff like that, I still only have one, which just is crazy. Like, or I guess I have 2 because there's the supercharged version, but that so much of this game is not necessarily tutorial but just that they unravel different elements of the battle mechanics of this game over a fairly long period of time. Not that that's a bad thing. Like it kind of gives you a good idea of it. And then moving forward, like you kind of unlock more of those things some more. But yeah, so I've been playing through it. It's really fun. If you haven't played that game or have played a Mario and Luigi game, like you kind of know what you're getting into. And this is the game that it also feels like it's coming back to its roots. It's like the core version of this game before it got overcomplicated. Like it's just Mario and Luigi. You don't have Paper Mario or Bowser or whatever else, like the million Luigis. It's just Mario and Luigi, which makes it a little bit more enjoyable.
Or the babies.
Or the babies, yeah. I actually really did like I think it is cool when they kind of go all out like that. But this one is, it's just Mario and Luigi, which is cool.
I'm just going to go on record here and say that baby Mario and assorted babies are the worst. They're the worst.
In general, babies are the worst.
Yeah, I remember finishing that second game, but I don't remember enjoying it.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I mean, like, talk about like they ruin a whole 3 or 4 character slots in Mario Kart. They're just a bunch of whiners.
Yeah.
They don't really contribute anything other than a really good track in Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
Go away, babies.
Yeah. So, so what I do want to talk about a little bit more is the Minion Quest. So the Minion Quest, basically, I was saying this in the pre-show. I want this game as a mobile game. Like Justin, you played a little bit of this game at EGX as well, right?
Yeah, just a very short amount of it.
Yeah, so basically, like, it honestly feels like, and granted, it's not necessarily in the middle of the matches that, or the actual gameplay itself, where you create, basically, I'll kind of show you that. I don't know how much this is, and this definitely isn't going to translate to audio, but this is kind of like on the bottom screen, you've got the little world map of different stages. On the top screen, you've got your army that you select, and there's 3 different types. You kind of got this type. Yellow beats red. The ranged yellow beat red. I think that's how it works. Yeah, red beats yellow. Yellow beats the yellow ranged beat the flying types that are blue, and then the blue flying types beat the red melee guys. And so basically, what you want to do is you want to create a team of 8 characters that, depending on what type you are on the stage and what enemies you're going to be going up against, you want to create a team. And what's interesting about it too is that the melee guys are always going to be on the front row, and then the blue guys will always be second if they're available, and the ranged guys are going to be on the back row. And so you don't only have to think about what types are on your team, but also the first row is always going to go up against the second row, and the second row is always going to go up against the first row is going to go against first row, second against second, third against third, theoretically, right?
So you've got to set your rows to mimic the weaknesses of their 3 rows.
Right, exactly. So basically, what could happen that you would not want to do is if you have your a team of red and blue guys, but they have a team of blue and yellow guys, like, you might think, oh, well, I have melee guys and they're going to fight against the ranged guys. That's good, right? But if you don't have the right combination, your second row and their second row may end up being that they may have the advantage, even though you have guys on your team who could counter the second row. It's like they're fighting against the rows or whatever. Like it gets a little bit more strategic that way, where you've got to think more about like what's going on. So most of the game, the appeal of this Minions game is, and again, it is an addition. It's a bonus game, but it's strategic and it's fun, and it's the story. It also has a lot of story. Basically, I don't know if the original game had the Koopalings in it, the seven Koopa kids or whatever, but they're all in this mode, and you're kind of on this quest to rescue them.
Yeah, the original Mario and Luigi had no Koopa kids.
Yeah, so all the Koopa kids are in this version now, and the minions are all sort of go on a quest to rescue each other and kind of regroup. Because at the beginning of the game, Bowser's ship explodes, right? Like, as he's kind of flying over there. And so Bowser's ship explodes, and the minions are scattered all over the Bean Kingdom or whatever. And you've got to rescue them all. So it's really fun. The most enjoyment of this game, honestly, is in between the fights. Once you actually start the game, or the battles, it's literally just like 8 of your guys fighting against 8 of their guys, and it's just literally just all these Goombas and whatever just pounding heads against each other. And there's some strategy on, like, you use the D-pad during battles to counter moves or to give boosts to your characters, stuff like that. But it's really fun. I would love to have this game. Like I said, I would love to have this game on like a mobile game. It would be the kind of game that I would play. Like a sort of gacha sort of game where you're collecting your army and powering up your minions and all that sort of stuff. But it's a fun little addition. So and not only that, but it also is, the story is happening concurrently with alongside the main story. So you walk into this one area and something happens, and all of a sudden you'll see like the little Goomba guy will be and like run off, and then when you go into the Minions quest, then you actually pick up from that point, and more stuff keeps happening, and you continue running into characters that are in the main storyline. They show up again in the Minions quest, and you kind of get more of a continuation, more character development on, the Prince Bean or whatever is the magic, his majestic hair, stuff like that. It's pretty fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. So, I'm playing it right now. I think that if this is a game you haven't played, but you have any sort of an appreciation for this game, I think it's worth looking into. So, that's any questions, guys, about that, or any sort of thoughts? Marty, you were saying you're considering this. Are you still considering this?
Yeah, it's probably going to be a Christmas game. Like if somebody's got, like, what can I get you for Christmas? Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. And one of the main reasons too for that is that my wife played that game back in the day and really enjoyed it too. So she'd probably enjoy playing through it again. And if I get that, then maybe she'll give me the Switch back and let me play some Picross too.
Right on. Cool. All right. As far as the last couple of quick fire impression sort of games, we do have just today the Arcade Archives Mario Bros. The original Mario game came out on the Switch. Who here has played it?
I have.
Okay, and
what's your problem, Dave? No playing this game?
No, I'm not gonna buy some trash arcade port of a bad game that was fun when it came out, but not as fun anymore.
I disagree. I think it's still great. Yeah,
good. Just because you played it when it came out, Jesse, you have nostalgia. You have Nintendo nostalgia, so to speak.
That sounds like a podcast that should be on a network.
On a network called the Day Space Podcast Network.
So let me wade in on this one a little bit first, because I love Mario, love pretty much any game Mario's in, but I was one of those guys who played Super Mario Brothers before I even realized that Mario Brothers was a thing. So, as a kid, I picked this up on the NES and immediately hated it. I was like, this is the stupidest game. And really, it was because, like all kids who say things like that, it's a stupid game because you're bad at it, right?
No, maybe that's why I hate it.
Yeah. So I was like, when they announced these arcade selects or arcade archives, I was excited for it. And especially like seeing some of the games that have come out, are going to come out this way, that haven't come out at all. Super Mario Versus, the actual arcade version of Punch Out that I had no clue existed until
one, right?
Yeah, until that direct, I had no clue that was a thing. So I was anxious to pick this up. I will say that I almost didn't buy it when I went on to the eShop and it was $7.99. That should have been that little like, kind of pump of the brakes right there should have been a cue, because here's the deal. I mean, just real cut and dried. It's Mario Brothers. You either like it or you don't. But probably, if you're honest with yourself, you play it simply for the nostalgia of it, and then you move on. So,
welcome to your virtual console, by the way, guys.
No. And I'm going to say this: like last week, and even when this was announced in the direct, I said, and I think Zach said as well, here you go. Here's virtual console. After playing this, I have no doubt in my mind this is not virtual console.
No, and I think we knew this when we were talking about this last week, but I didn't really fully process what it meant. This was done by the same people who have done all those Neo Geo games.
Yeah.
Right? That's who ported this. And so Nintendo, this is another example of Nintendo giving their sort of, handing over the keys to them in order to do this. And I think that's fine. It's just not, this is not a Nintendo developed project.
And that is so apparent when you fire this game up and try to get into the menu.
Yeah.
And try through the options. And that's why I say this is not Virtual Console, because like part of the point I feel like of Nintendo having Virtual Console on the Wii and Wii U was let's play these nostalgic games, right? But also part of that point is let's have an easy way to play these nostalgic games, or a better way. The Arcade Archive interface is so bad. There's no, like, I can't dress it up. There's no words, window dressing I can put on it. It's terrible. It is a dumpster fire in itself.
I don't know.
It is almost Sonic Forces.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Nothing can be that bad. But anyways, like here's the thing. If I'm going to play a game, if I've been trained for my entire life to press start or press the A button to play a game, this is just, there's just needless, ridiculous button press combinations that you have to do. Like press the L button to put a credit in the machine, press the R button to start the game. Stupid.
It is a little bit bizarre. Well, especially the credit thing. I was like, wait, what? And then I realized, oh wait, no, this was an arcade game.
And here's the first thing I did when I started this game. I pumped about 30 credits into it, and I was like, finally going to see what the advanced levels of this game look like.
There are no continues.
Nope, there are no continues. So, like Jesse tweeted earlier about the fireballs in level 10, you get there and you can pretty much kiss it goodbye, buddy. This is way more. If you've ever played Mario Brothers on the NES, this is a special level of brutal that is way past that.
Yeah,
so there's no save state. There's the save interrupt data, which is basically like
it's like a save state, but clunky.
But you can't reload it once you like. It's basically more of like a save
I think it's like how Virtual Console on the Wii. It was a suspend state. You like on Virtual Console on the Wii. If you're middle of a game, you can push home, go back to Wii menu, and do something else. And then the next day, if you go back into that same Virtual Console, you'll start right from where you left off. I think that's what this is. I haven't tried it to make sure. But
let me tighten this up real fast. It's overpriced. For what it is. It should not have been what it is, and what Nintendo should have done, or Archive, or whatever, should have put out like 7 or 8 of these arcade games in a cartridge for like a 20.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't like. I honestly don't have a problem with this. I really don't. It's
a tenner for this in Canada. Come on now, Zach. Give your head a shake.
Oh, I don't. Like it's because it's a game that is so. That is so much like this is the first time you've been able to play this game for a while. It's probably too expensive, but I don't think.
Well, when we first
nostalgia and
let me give a little bit.
Make it a price justification.
Well, there's a little bit of justification.
Here, guys. We're fighting in front of him. Okay.
There's a little bit of justification to the price to me in that this is a version of this game that has never been playable at home unless you've emulated it. So there's a little bit of history plus nostalgia to it, but it still should not have been $8 and change after I finished paying taxes for it. I mean, the NES version is $4.99.
Yeah, you know what? I will say, I'll say that the price is a little bit high, but like, I don't know, like $4.99 would have been better, but I don't know. Maybe it's for me. It's more of like. It was $3 difference. You know what I mean? Like the difference between $5 and $8. If the difference of buying it and not buying it
this is you accepting the Canadian dollar for what it is, Zach. Yeah, that's what this is.
Well, and like I was just about to say too, like as far as like come and talk to me when you're paying $80 for Odyssey, and then we'll talk, right? Like, I really, honestly, maybe that's why the price doesn't bother me as much, because that's how much I'm going to be paying in October is $80.
Hi Odyssey for $51 thanks to Amazon Prime.
Anytime that there is any retail game, I'm paying $80 for it. And so the difference between $5 and $8, and then I'm paying $10 for it, is like, okay, well, whatever. Like at some point, it's just like that. It is what it is. As far as the actual interface and stuff like that, I think that the arcade archives, like you were saying, Marty, the interface, it was a little bit weird to get into it. I immediately kind of went in and looked at it, like the fact, but also realizing too, like immediately that no, this is an arcade version of this game. You do need to put in credits for it. You do need to have all of that stuff that's in there. My thing too, one of my issues, so that didn't really bother me either, because you have to map it somehow, right? And I think that it's the fact that the start button goes into the interface menu, not the game. It's not used in the game. It's different. It's a weird mapping, but it's probably better to have the settings on start versus the other one. The only other final thing that I will say about this is there is a way that you can change the orientation of the thing so that you can play it like this, right? Which is really cool. And so what is the first thing that you would do if you were doing that? Is you put on a single Joy-Con and you would play like this, right? Like I wanted to do that. I went into it. There's no way to do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, there's no setting where you can turn the Joy-Con sideways to play, is there?
No, there is. You can play with the Joy-Con sideways as long as it's not connected to the Switch.
Well,
and
of course, yeah.
Because I was sitting like this, right? Like, or whatever.
See, I never even thought of trying to play it that way.
I thought you could play it that way. I'm actually kind of disappointed and surprised you can't.
Yeah, so you can't. So I could be wrong. Like, if somebody out there is willing to correct me and tell me that I'm wrong here, but to have a single, even if it was in full handheld mode, right? Let's have both the Joy-Cons on there. I just want to play it like this. You can't do that. If you have, and by the way, for your audio listeners, there is a way to turn it or to rotate it so that you are playing with it basically in what you call like a portrait mode, right? Where it's vertical. In this game, it's not that big of a deal because it's more of like a square image. But in something like Punch-Out, I better be able to do that, right? Like, because that's how I want to play this game, right? I want to play it in handheld mode vertically.
And you know what would have been really good is if you couldn't turn it into handheld mode like that, the vertical, that on the sides of the screen there you can turn on this really generic background or border. Why did they not do the art from the arcade cabinets?
Yeah,
they're true. Like that's one thing that I was extremely disappointed about. It felt lazy and it felt thrown together, because if you go back and you look,
if you play a single Pac-Man arcade port, it pretty much always gives you that option.
Yeah. And the thing is does Namco Museum not have some of that in there?
Well, this isn't Namco, but
I'm just asking. I mean, it's there. I think there's art related to the games and different things like that, but like that's a really iconic looking machine. Somebody posted a picture of it in our line chat earlier and said, and they brought that up, what a shame it was that didn't get included.
Here's what this should have been. This should have been, hey, all those My Nintendo rewards points that you have that are sitting around? Let me put this in the Switch things that you can get. Why don't you cash in 50 gold coins? We're going to give this to you. Awesome. Have a great day. That's what this should have been, not charging a tenner for it. That's what it should have been.
That would have been brilliant. I probably would have done it. I have so many stupid coins that I don't buy anything with.
And you know what's funny about that is that actually the cost of this has made me rethink future purchases from this line.
Oh, absolutely. This
I would have said,
for me was a trigger.
If it was $5.99 even, I would have said, yeah, it's $7 after or $6 after I throw it in there. And I don't know what the threshold is there for me, but like just that, I don't know.
If you had said
$7.99 feels a little bit of an insult.
here's 20, here's a 20, we throw an icon on your dashboard, and then throughout the next 8 weeks or whatever, we drop one new game in there. You pay 20. It's like basically an emulator. You go into it, it's a library, boom, it's there, you grab them. It's for 20 bucks.
You get DLC like once a month or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. I would have been fine with that, but paying it at a tenner every single time, no, I'm not okay with that.
And apparently
off.
Apparently, I'm the only one who thinks that the price is fine because when we first talked about this after the direct, I actually walked through my logic, my thought process of how I think the pricing should go, and I ended up saying I think this will be a $7 or $8 game, and I hit it.
Hey, nobody likes somebody who brags. All right, there.
Well, just because
Adam Leonard. Nobody likes people who brag.
Because the NES the NES version of the game is a gimped version because it couldn't play.
This is the best game that I've ever played.
The arcade game directly, and so they sell that for $5. So I expected it to be more than $5.
Mm-hmm. Like this actually getting into the game itself, having never played this version of the game before, I think it's a great version of this game. I think it is how it was meant to be played, right? Like this was how this game was originally designed, and it's something that I don't know. I think it's cool.
I never liked the 4-pixel wide turtles from the NES version.
I appreciate what it is from its importance in video gaming history, and I like that I have access to it. However, there are a lot of other things around it that I think were absolute misses by the developer, and I think should have been done better, and should be done better in the landscape that we currently live in with digital commodities this way.
I agree with what you're saying about all the little side stuff, but the game itself is solid.
Yeah.
The game is what it is. But if I can't get past all the clutter to get to said game, then you're not doing your job properly.
Well, next time you launch it, go to the high score mode, and it'll do the coin insert and start for you. You'll lose the save state, but really it's that's something I'll never use because it's an arcade game.
Yeah. I just am not understanding what the problem is with this, with basically what it is an emulator. I'm not understanding that your criticism is that it doesn't make it easier for you to put the money in the machine. I'm not understanding the criticism. You push a button and you put a coin and you push the other button and you start. How hard is that? Yeah. I don't understand.
If you're playing it on an emulator, you're doing the same process.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's hard. It's just that it's unnecessary. Let's be honest. It's unnecessary.
If you're emulating,
if you're going to go to the trouble to simulate an arcade game that way, at least go to the trouble then to make the rest of the experience halfway decent and include some of the art from the arcade cabinet. I don't need, in 2017, I don't need to virtually put a quarter in my Nintendo Switch and then virtually push the one-player start button. Just do it with the plus button.
See, again, I disagree. I think it's part of the experience.
That's exactly what I would say. I think if you are playing an arcade game, they would have to actually go and change the code of the game in order to and therefore sully the experience of playing this original arcade
which they've already done. They've already changed the code because they've added different modes to this game.
Right.
They've added a caravan mode. They've added a high score mode. So they've already done that. So why not it's easy. It's just one button.
This is here's the thing that
it's all still the same game with different hooks in it. But yeah.
Here's the thing that I'm enjoying. This is the most lively discussion we've had about a video game, I think, in a long time.
I agree.
And how polarizing it is. And Dave is just sitting there watching like a small little child with a beard.
I honestly, bearded child. I am looking. I will probably buy more Arcade Archive games. Given how they did this, I will do it. I will buy more. I am looking forward to Punch Out.
He's the only one, guys. Relax. Don't worry. Sex.
No, I'm going to buy Punch Out. That's one that's totally new for me. I'll probably get that.
Zach, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you believe they could have done this better in relation to cost, in relation to setup, in relation to because here's the thing: if you're going to buy a bunch of these, now they're going to be all over your controller or over your library.
Sure.
Would you have preferred just to have bought like I said like Spot of 20, and now you have this portal, so to say, that you go in, and it can emulate the exact same way.
Well, here's
or
the
do,
thing.
or do you like them piecemealed?
I don't mind them piecemealed. I think that they could have charged less, but again, it's that whole like, okay, well, if they would have charged $5 instead of $8, would they have sold that many more? Probably not, right? Like they wouldn't have sold that many more because of that. So charge $8 for what people want, and if you want this game, like I don't understand the idea of like, oh well, it's $8 and not $5. Well, I'm no longer interested in this piece of gaming history and enjoying it. Like for $3, like I don't understand that that thing. Either it's worth it to you or it's not, right? And if it's not worth it to you, don't get it. Big deal, yeah. Right? And so that's one piece. But and having said that too, with that, like I don't understand why we are surprised that this is $8 when literally every other Neo Geo Classics arcade archive stuff that they've put on the Switch, which there's probably 24 of them by now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every single one of them is $8, right? Like,
but nobody wants those, and it doesn't matter. It's not an actual classic, so it's fine.
Right, and
the argument can be made about Metal Slug.
Yeah. Right.
No, it's
get off my goddamn show now.
That is how much every single one of their games is. And so would it be nice if I could have more for less? Yes, but I'm just going to call a spade here and say that maybe we're feeling a little bit too entitled about some of this stuff too. And like, oh, what? This is an old game and I could emulate it if I wanted to. Therefore, I shouldn't have to pay.
I just want the effort put in, Zach. I just want them to make it worth the time. If you're going to make me press the arcade buttons, then at least give me the arcade artwork. Give me some extra little things. It don't take a lot of your time, and it's fine. I'm with you. Yep. Let's look forward to Punch-Out, because Punch-Out will be better because nobody ever played it.
Josh Thomas from Nintendo Beyond says, I noticed the Nintendo dads go off on huge discussions about any video game pre-1995. Fair play, Josh. Fair play on that, yes.
And that varies based on the nostalgia level of whatever game we're talking about. And in this case, this is probably my favorite arcade of all time. So I've got a hell of a lot of nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of nostalgia for, again, I think I've talked about this before, but my big nostalgia game for this kind of arcade game was Snow Bros, which I don't know if has anybody here played that?
Sounds like Ice Climbers.
So basically, it's more of like you throw snowballs at the enemies and then they turn into snowmen and then you push them around and you clear the level, kind of almost like a similar sort of vein of like a Bubble Bobble maybe or something like that, right? But so if that game ever comes to Arcade Archives, which I think maybe is that coming? I don't know.
I'm actually going to check the Arcade Archives right now for you, actually, Zach. So give me a second.
Because Snow Bros, I don't think it's there, but if it ever does, oh my gosh, I would buy. That'd be so good.
So here is the oh my gosh, holy Dinah.
Are there a lot coming?
They have a ton of games listed here.
Hey guys, remember the eShop problem we talked about? Here, it's about to get 100 times worse because they couldn't just put one app that you install games for $8 a piece.
And because it is through the Neo Geo people, they've actually got all the Neo Geo games mixed up into here too.
Yeah. Whoa, that's even better.
Bear with me a couple minutes here.
So I think I don't know. I understand what you guys are saying too about throwing some of that stuff in. And here's the thing. Here's the wonderful thing, Justin. What you're talking about, that pay $20 and you'll get all of these games downloaded on every once in a while. That is literally the exact model that Nintendo's Virtual Console Plus or whatever the heck they're calling it. That is exactly the model that they're doing for that. And so what you're asking for is going to be here in the form of NES and SNES games.
You are confirming things that may or may not be true.
No, that's absolutely true. That is on. If you go to Nintendo's Nintendo Switch Online thing right now, they are saying that archive. What do they call it? Nintendo Switch Online service. What is the classic game collection? Subscribers will get to download a compilation of classic titles with added online play, such as Super Mario Bros. 3, Balloon Fight, and Dr. Mario, coming in 2018. Those I don't know exactly if it's going to be a single tile on your screen or not, or if it's going to be you log into the eShop and it's free because you have that online subscription. I don't know. But we know that that's coming and that it's included in your Nintendo Switch online subscription. So
here's what I would say, Dave. You can snip that clip out, and if he's wrong, you can come back and send it to me.
I can't wait to come back and tell him he's
Perfect.
wrong.
So Zach, the games that were announced is versus Super Mario Brothers, versus Balloon Fight, versus Ice Climbers, versus Pinball, and versus Clue Land.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so those again.
Because there are so many people beating down the door, going, "Oh my God, Nintendo, please release Clue Land again."
So here's my question.
My favorite game.
Here's my question then. If you had to give it a percentage of how much this Mario Brothers game bothers you, how much of it is the game itself and how much of it is implementation where suddenly this $8 is not worth it?
Is it all implementation?
I don't know that it's the game itself, Zach. I think it's being not knowing what I was. It's not. This is going to sound dumb, but it's knowing and not knowing what I was getting going into it. I knew the game I was going to get. Mm-hmm. What I didn't know is what I feel like is the half presentation of it. The kind of lazy presentation, the horrible menus and things like that. So when I say that I have buyer's remorse, that what I mean by that is not that I mean, the price is some of it. I guess it's like being on the other side of it and going, that's all I get.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? It's not that I'm disappointed so much in the package that I got. It's that for what I paid for it, I don't feel like it was a good value.
It's not that I'm mad at the game. I'm disappointed in the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Here, I would say this, Zach. Your question. I want to go back to your question. It's not the game. It's the infrastructure around it.
Okay.
It is everything around it. Like that is like when I actually get in there and play the game, I like the game, but it's everything else around it that irritates me about it. I think more could have been done. I think it could have been done at a less costly. I think it could have been rolled out and implemented in a different way.
So okay, so my final question, we can move on from this because agree to disagree at some point. But how much experience do you guys have with using Asterisk here, completely legal emulation, like using emulators such as I don't know.
I may have had access to one for a large amount of time where I may have or may not have played a large amount of games on it for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
We may have not used them to play games on laptops in college.
Okay. we in the royal sense, right? The community is okay.
We is in the general community. Yeah.
So comparing this to a PC emulator, comparing this implementation to a PC emulator, right? Like that's kind of where I agree with you that the packaging around it is not that great. The manual is in there. There is a manual for this game in the menu that admittedly you have to dig for, and I do agree that the menus are not great, right? You have to actually go into original mode in order to access just about everything. In fact, if you want to do high score mode, what you have to do is go into original mode, pause it, and you'll get this menu, and then you change whatever settings you want to change, and then afterwards.
This is freaking hideous. Is anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah. I guess this is your first time seeing it, isn't it?
Yeah, because I don't own it, because I didn't waste my $8.
It's an options menu, right? It is function over form, right?
Yes, but it looks like a PC menu, but you charged me $8 for it, Zach. You charged me $8.
$8 for the game.
Yes, but you're developers. Make it look freaking okay. Not brilliant. It doesn't have to look fantastic, but it shouldn't look like I jiggy rigged some PC emulator to run on some crappy laptop so that we could play Super Mario Brothers with PS2 controllers in the middle of the cafe. Like, that's not what this is. This is an $8 purchase.
That sounds very specific.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
We don't know why it sounds specific, but it does.
Just for note, Nintendo Dads does not endorse emulations illegally. but supporting your local developers.
Yeah, so that's I don't know. So that's kind of I don't know. I enjoy it. Jesse.
Weirdly specific.
Jesse, we're enjoying it. I'm having fun with it.
I'm happy that you are both happy.
Yeah, the only thing that's confusing me on it though is I played the game in the high score mode 2 or 3 times, and it's not saving my score.
No, mine didn't either.
Oh, so now it's broken. Now it's broken. Now it's $8 and broken. That's great, guys.
The regular mode saves my score, which I didn't think it would, and then in the 5-minute mode saved my score. And in fact, in one of my high score mode games, I got to level 14, like 110,000 points would have put me in like top 30, but it didn't save my score. So not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is just a reflection of a continuation of this motto of high hopes, low expectations. I don't know. Maybe that's what we're dealing with here. I don't know.
I feel like we need a T-shirt with that on it.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit, we should. Yeah, we'll talk about that offline. Maybe we need to start making some branding here. Actually.
Right on. All right. Well, anything else, guys? Before we wrap up what we've been playing.
No, I think that's good. We had a long conversation
about.
we had a lot of conversation here. Like it's getting interesting.
Okay, well, we are at 2 hours somehow.
Not surprising. This is Nintendo Dad. It's the 3-hour podcast. It's not a dad podcast.
Oh.
What I do want to do real quick here, I think. Let me know what you guys think. What I would like to do is forego emails until next week, and then I want to give a little bit of time to Dave at the end of the show here for some community spotlight. What do you guys think?
Despite his shots that we are not a dad's podcast?
I mean, no, you're not the only 3-hour dad's podcast, but you're also every week, not every month.
I was like, did you not listen to our dad's conversation last week? Because it was really good. We got a lot of positive feedback about that.
No, we did. All right, well, let's get into that, and I'm going to play a thing here.
Give Dave his time.
Okay, time.
All right, there you go.
It's my favorite clip.
That's our bumper. So, Dave, Community Spotlight, you, the Podfather himself, I don't know, maybe there's other people who are called that. I don't know.
I've been called the Puff Daddy of podcasting. I've been called that before.
Puff Daddy of podcasting. Marty, that's who had the party at the Hideout.
Yeah.
Or as the Puff Daddy of podcasting.
The Day Space.
The Podfather. I like it.
Can I put out a request? And I know that we typically don't do this, but Adam Leonard, if you could draw a Dave Moore as the Puff Daddy of podcasting, could you please do that?
We ran this whole bit. He listens to our show, and we ran this thing about.
Well, someone's got to
the new Dave with this pimp jacket. He didn't draw it. So, hi Adam, get on it. Where is this drawing? We've requested it. Anyway.
If you need funding, Adam, talk to us. We'll support you in some way.
I will. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's already got a drawing of me. He did the artwork for my show. Speaking of my show, Forget Being Cool, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you like video games, it's in the morning with me and Johnny Casino. We're live at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Ooh. I'm still sleeping most of the time.
Yeah,
so it's a 3 days a week show, and I've tuned in a couple of times. Interesting show. I like it. You can tell there's a. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I want to hear.
You can tell there's a lot of influence from other podcast communities as well, and I think that's a really interesting thing. I think I like your kind of musical bit halfway between as well. How are you guys finding doing 3 days a week? Because that feels like a lot.
Well, because we've broken it up into being almost these kind of separate kind of style shows. Like Wednesdays we do Bingeables and we do Shell the Forgotten, the way that we used to do our own show. And then Friday we have a movie we watched, and we have all these other little things that we're doing that are part of it, and surprisingly going well, 50 episodes in and doing super well. But the other thing, other than Forget Being Cool, because Forget Being Cool is awesome and I love John, and John will listen to this because he will pull out clips of me and Zach saying things that are hateful towards each other because we just can't agree about this archive game that we don't want for $8.
If you don't want it, fine. It's okay.
I do a show with Sean Capri. He's been on this show before. Sean Capri, hi. We do the Xbox Drive while Sean drives to work.
What?
So if you like Xbox, Sean gets in his car in the morning. I get on Skype. He calls me. He goes through the McDonald's drive-thru, picks up his coffee, and we record the conversation talking about Xbox while he drives to work. The Xbox Drive over at thexboxdrive.com, powered by the Dayspace Podcast Network. Like all these great shows that I do, and powering a lot of our friends, including like Gary Gray's Topic Nintendo, Jacob Rush's Nintendo Nostalgia. I still have Character Crunch. We have Generational Gamers. We have all of Bobby Paul's shows about Nintendo. If we ran Nintendo, we have Sean's. We have the Gamercast over there. We've got the shows. Dayspace.com. DACESPACE.
Which I assume they can just all subscribe during any usual podcast feed as well.
Yes, they're all on iTunes, and the easiest thing to do is to type in Dayspace to the iTunes store, and all the shows show up. It's great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So if you were to pick one that was your absolute favorite of all your podcasts, because you have so many there, Dave, you had to say to one person, this is the show you have to tune in for. This is our flagship show. This is our crowning jewel. What would that show be?
Am I allowed the show that I'm not on? Oh, I can't.
I would say on your network.
I can tell you what I could say is my favorite show that I'm not on, but I don't want to offend. No, let's not do that because that'll make people upset.
So, which show would you have to drop if you had to drop a show? Then let's say you're making room for another bigger show to come on. Which show would you drop?
I know exactly whose show that would be, but I'm not going to say that either.
Really? Okay, let's push a little bit further. Which show of Bobby's would you drop?
Oh, that's easy. That's Nintendo PlayStation. That has no business being a thing. That's too confusing. Nobody knows what that show's about. It's not about Nintendo or PlayStation. It's about Grand Theft Auto and Bobby. It's bizarre.
Right. It's about Bobby. I like it.
But seriously though, which one's your favorite?
My favorite.
If I'm tuning into your network, you've got a lot. You're the Podfather, and you're like, this is your gateway. This is the one you have to watch because it's the best out of all. It's a crown jewel. Like, listen, let's be honest. Like, just some real talk here. As parents, we also have our own favorite kid. Now, we don't really tell them that, but you have one that's a little bit more special than the others. Okay, so which is your special kid?
I have no favorites. I love them all equally. Except the fact is that there are some I dislike more than others.
Okay, if you had to list them in ratings of favorites to least favorite, how would you do that?
You look at the homepage of the site, right? Now here's the secret.
Okay, I'm going to go there right now.
Now that's arranged alphabetically, not by the way that I like them. Just to clarify.
Okay.
And that's the way it will remain.
Dayspace.com. History and Hops. That's an interesting show. Tell me more about that.
History and Hops is Johnny Casino and this guy that he knows that I don't know. And they drink beer and talk about history. That's a new show. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
John, get on that because I know you're listening. Make some more episodes of that show. Otherwise, I'm going to take it off the homepage because I don't have favorites.
That's interesting. All right. Cool.
Wow.
All right.
But anyway, listen to Forget Being Cool and listen to the Xbox Drive.
Okay. So those are your two favorites. That's what you're saying right now. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm biased.
I do like the concept of the Xbox Drive. I mean, I feel I am concerned about Sean's safety though.
I mean, that
hosting a podcast and driving is a bit dangerous, I think.
It's a valid concern. He doesn't look at the notes. I'm usually looking at the notes.
Zach, didn't you used to have a podcast where you just do it in your car?
I did, yeah. I did. Point. It was more of like a. I think a lot of podcasters do this, like ones who do like more of like an audio journal sort of thing. But yeah, I did that.
Hey, Dave, I just came up with a new idea for a show as we're sitting here.
Uh-oh.
Can I get on the Dayspace Network with the Nintendo Dump?
No.
I like
no more Nintendo shows.
Where I do like a 15-minute show while I'm taking a poop every day.
Yes.
Here's the thing about that, Marty, is it's got its own like original concept enough that I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? It's different. It's different.
What if I do a show where I review different types of Oreos?
I would love that.
Oreo dump.
We used to have a show called Fantastic Eats. That kind of
Yeah,
died.
you did.
Yeah, because Justin stopped sending me snacks.
Oh, screw you. I send you a couple things and you bugger off. All right, you need to make more content than 2 things I send you.
Basically what you said is you killed the show because people stopped feeding you.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
You need to make better. You need better choices.
All right. Well,
Anyway, go check it out.
Never sent me snacks.
If you need your Xbox fixed, guys, you're Nintendo people over here. I know that, but I've heard your emails. I listen to this show too. Some of you guys got some Xboxes.
Yeah.
Get that Xbox Drive in your life.
Plus, Sean Capri is he's an amazing human being. And by the way, if you haven't listened to his episode of We the Gamercast with Luke,
Wow.
dude,
Go do that.
He's doing stuff with podcasts that I wish that I was doing with podcasts. He's an awesome dude. Very cool. Touching the real issues, and it's super good. So
Powered by the
and that's quite genuine, not just usual facetious poking at Sean that we usually do. But yeah, that is quite real.
It's actually like genuinely like I know that we were just like we spent a lot of time this episode comparing each other. But for real talk here for a second, it's the discussion about anxiety and depression and talking about that in a way that is authentic. There's so much shame around mental illness and stuff like that. And the way that they talk about it, it's just so like vulnerable and authentic and real. They're breaking down that stigma, man. And I think that is some important, powerful stuff that he's doing over there. So, very cool, very awesome. Go check that out. We the Gamercast as well. So Sean Capri, you're a beautiful man.
Yeah, and for those that maybe missed that, that was one of his most recent episodes with Luke Lore, who's a good friend of our community as well. So check that out.
Over at dayspace.com. All this stuff.
There you go. Do it. All right.
Stuffs.
Anything as we're wrapping up the show here, gentlemen? Any final thing? Justin, do we have anything on the as we're doing this?
I think next week we're doing a retro rewind. You guys are. I'm not going to be here. So we're doing that. Extra Life. If you want to play video games to help raise funds for Children's Miracle Network, please check it out. We would love for you to support us. We're going to put more information out on our social medias right away about how you can do that. But please go over to Extra Life. And if you want to join our team, I think it's Extra Life or it's Nintendo_EL. You can find us there.
Yeah, right on. Well, of course, Dave, once again, thank you for being on the show, dude. How do people find the stuff you're doing one more time?
Dayspace.com. It's DACESPACE.com or the XboxDrive.com. Also takes you there.
You know what we forgot to do, and I apologize. Can we pause the music for a second there? I know we're running over for a second. I want to pull something up. While I'm doing that, Zach, Rockstar Games is having a conversation here today. Do you think we're going to hear anything about Nintendo?
What? Rockstar?
Rockstar is having an announcement today on the 28th. Think we're going to hear anything about Nintendo? It looks like they're teasing Red Dead Redemption 2 possibly, but
I don't think Red Dead 2 is coming to the Switch. I think that's not going to do it. We already know that LA Noire is coming. So
yeah, so that's why
what I'd like to see is GTA 5 for Switch.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The thing that I'm grabbing right now, and I apologize, is that last week, guys, we had on Ben Pertoli, and he talked about his book, 101 Video Games You Need to Play Before You Grow Up. The publisher reached out to us and is kind enough to give us a copy to one of our amazing fans, and we're going to actually give that away to one of our Patreon supporters.
Awesome.
So here is what we're going to do. Dave, you are going to help us select our Patreon supporter that is going to get a copy. So Dave, could you select a number between 1 and 60, please?
42.
That is very specific.
The meaning of life.
Yeah.
42. The meaning of life.
As long as I don't have to make anything better, because I know there is support.
Okay, 42. That is Chris Greaves. Chris Greaves is that individual. So congratulations to you. We will reach out to you directly. And actually, Chris Greaves is actually from Ireland. So that'll be awesome. So yeah, I will connect you directly, Chris, and we'll get your address and all that information. So yeah, thank you very much for that, guys.
And
thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
I will give you a congratulatory
Wobble Buffett.
There you go. Right on. Okay. So let me start. I actually can't pause the music. I had to start it over, but that's okay. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations, Chris, for winning the book. And I listened to that interview. It was awesome. It also sent me down a rabbit hole of watching all the Game Theorist Five Nights at Freddy's videos for some reason. So that was the thing. But anyways, huge thanks to everybody. Thanks again, Dave, for being on the show. And of course, if you want to follow us on all the social medias, you can do so on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Nintendo Dads. If you want to email us, you can do so, nintendodads@gmail.com. If you want to watch some videos of our faces, go to Twitch or YouTube. Look for Nintendo Dads. You'll find us there. If you want to call in and leave us a voicemail, it's 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Huge thanks to OC Remix for our music throughout the show, as well as to both Carter Johnson and Adam Leonard for our amazing artwork. Adam Leonard, you need to reach out to us. We want that Dave art. We need it. And of course, if you want to change the world, you can do so by going to iTunes and leaving us a 5-star review. Written reviews are even better. And if you want to subscribe, you can do so on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course, VGTribune.com. For me, for Justin, for Jesse, for Marty, and for the entire Day Space Network. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Buffett.
Nice job.